What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the pros and cons of living in Boston. Subscribe to our channel if you have any questions. My name is Albert. I'm a real estate agent here. I would love to help you out if you're looking to purchase a property, if you're considering moving to Boston, if you're considering selling a property. Hit me up. Phone number, email is right below, or there's a link. You can book a meeting with me directly in there. All right, so let's get into it. Pro number one, location. Okay, Boston's location is one of the best locations for a city in America. If you are somebody who likes to travel, if you're somebody who likes to drive, Boston is fantastic. You could drive, it's about 2 hours to Maine, about 3.5 hours to New York if you feel like taking a trip to New York. And also, my family is in Europe, so I like to go visit my family. It's about 6.5 hours to pretty much every major country or city in Europe, which is a pretty big deal to me. One con is the cost of living is pretty high. Boston's cost of living is one of the highest in the country. It's an old city, one of the oldest cities, and it brings the cost of living high for multiple reasons. One, the housing demand is extremely high. There's not enough housing, so housing is super expensive. To actually be exact, it's about 300% more expensive than the average in America, so that's really high. And then obviously with a booming economy, with a lot of people traveling to Boston, a lot of tourists, the cost of living and demand for goods in general is really high. So that's something to keep in mind about Boston. Pro number two, it has an extensive public transportation system. Despite traffic congestions, if you're driving a car, Boston boasts a comprehensive public transportation system. Whether you're commuting by train, bus, trolley, or even on the water, getting around downtown area in Boston is usually a breeze, again, unless you are driving. The public transportation system truly makes it easy and possible for you to live a life without car in a big city, which is a huge benefit for bigger cities. If you don't need a car, and in Boston you truly don't need a car, the transportation system, and you have multiple options. But with a great public transportation, a con is that traffic can be an absolute nightmare. So if you own a car and if you're driving a car, especially if you live in one of the surrounding towns or areas where you have to drive into Boston every day, traffic can be an absolute nightmare. It's one of the worst traffics in the country, and one of the main reasons is because of how busy and how populated the city is. Traffic is just extremely busy. Most of the roads in Boston is like a maze, right? So most of the roads are very narrow, very tiny. Because there's not enough parking, it gets extremely busy, and it could take you, like entering Boston with no traffic. While you're entering Boston, it could take you 10 minutes. With traffic, that could take 30 to 35 minutes. So it's something to definitely keep in mind and consider. All right, another pro about Boston as a city is very safe. Now, obviously, it's a big city. There's a crime rate. If you can compare it to the average crime rate in the country, it is high. But for a big city, for the caliber of the city that Boston is, the crime rate is relatively low. And most of the crimes are, smaller petty crimes like, somebody stealing your backpack and things like that, which is, it is what it is, but that's just a reality. Still, crime is much lower than the major cities of its caliber in the country. Con number three is parking. Parking in Boston can be an absolute headache. I remember when I had an office there, I started driving my car, and it was absolutely impossible to find parking. You either had to get there extremely early to find a parking spot, and then the prices are somewhere between $4 and $6 an hour. So that's one way to park your car, but there's just not a lot of available parking. Another option is to find a parking garage where you can pay like a monthly fee. Hourly rate is extremely high, but if you pay a monthly fee, you're looking at somewhere between like $450 and $600 a month to pay a parking fee to park in Boston in a car garage. And it's extremely complicated. And the reason why there's not enough parking is, again, because of how much the city has exploded in the last 10-15 years, and it was never designed to be such a busy city. It's a lot of like horse trails, like that's how the roads are. They don't make sense, and they're just not very parking friendly. So that's why parking is an absolute headache. So it's something to definitely keep in mind. If you own a property, the benefit is that you can get these permanent permits that you are allowed to park on the street. So once you find a parking spot, and if you don't have to really move your car on a daily basis, it's much easier to navigate that way. So you can park your car and leave it there for a couple of days. And usually you'll see, like, if you're, in like decent certain streets, you will see cars that have stickers, and they can just leave their car parked there. So it's just a little difficult to find parking. Pro number 4, Boston is a really good city for foodies. It's got a lot of options from classic New England type food to modern cuisine. You have it all within the city. Just the Quincy market itself, it's got a ton of options in there. It's a truly, really great experience. So if you're ever just visiting Boston, make it a point to go to the Quincy market. There's tons of options from multicultural cuisines throughout the world that are there, serve good food. It's a really good food city, right? It's got freshly caught seafood, delicious clam chowder, Boston baked beans are some of the Boston classics you will find. But yeah, if you're into seafood, obviously New England in general is a great place to have seafood, but Boston has some of the best seafood in the country, in my opinion. Con number 4. This is my favorite. It's not my favorite. I hate it. Prepare for awful winters. Boston has some of the worst winters in the country. New England is known to have crazy winters, but in the city, winters can get really difficult. The average snow that the city gets every year is about 46 inches, so that's a lot of snow. During the winter, days are extremely short, so don't be surprised if you're leaving the house to go to work during winter days and it's dark, and then you're leaving the office and it's dark because days are just extremely short. It gets really, really cold during the winter. Winter days are long. It pretty much gets really cold and unbearable between, like, I want to say December 25th to end of February. It's really cold, so keep that in mind. Again, to go back to the parking situation, it's really hard to clear out your car if you're driving there from your parking to get out. So it's definitely one of the worst cons that we have on the list, winter, which is, it's something you first got to get used to, and you have to be okay with dealing with complicated winters in the city. All right, a pro number 5, obviously everybody knows this. Even when I didn't live here, even when I lived in Europe, I knew this. Boston is a hub for educational opportunities. It's got some of the best universities in the world. Universities like Harvard, MIT, Boston College, Boston University, and many more are a hub for learning, knowledge, and innovation. And one of the reasons why it continues to contribute to its growing economy are the universities, because of the talent that comes from there and then just ends up staying in Boston. Con number 5 is there's lots of walking. Although walking is great for maintaining a healthy lifestyle, the amount of walking involved in the daily life is not everyone's cup of tea. It could be a downside for those who prefer other modes of transportation, especially during snow, winter, and hot summer days. That's what we kind of covered a little bit earlier during the winter days, because the city has so much traffic, because there's not a lot of parking. If you are a person who's going to move to the city and take advantage of the walking opportunities, which could be a pro during the summer and spring months, but walking could be absolutely challenging during the winter if that's going to be the way you plan on going to work and doing your activities. So keep that in mind. Pro number 6, Boston has a thriving economy. The city is known for its economy, always had a great economy. Even during recessions, the economy remains strong. And one of the reasons why it has a strong economy is because, again, like I said earlier, of the talent that comes out of these major universities. So if you are looking for career opportunities, for growth, for great income opportunities, Boston is a great city for you because it offers a lot of opportunities. Job opportunities in industries like healthcare, education, finance, and tech are all over. They're only growing, and they're going to continue to grow. And so you have amazing opportunity in the city. Con number 6 is a regular Boston apartment is much smaller in average square footage than other cities when it comes to housing. And also because the demand, you're going to end up paying more per square foot on average than in most cities in the country. So it's something important to keep in mind. And also because most buildings are older, historical buildings, it's hard to renovate those buildings. And because of that, you have smaller spaces. Now, yeah, most of them are renovated, but just something to keep in mind, that don't be surprised if you find a small apartment for $500,000-$600,000 that's 500 or 600 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and potentially awkwardly shaped in there as well. All right, pro number 7, a healthier lifestyle. Boston offers the opportunity for you to have a healthier lifestyle. Now, this was kind of a con earlier when we were talking about the walkability during the winter, but because the city is so walkable, because you have access to so many things, you are going to have a healthier lifestyle. You have a lot of walkable neighborhoods like Back Bay, South End, East End, and many other neighborhoods that you can go. You can go get things done like shopping, and most of the jobs and offices are in that area as well. So it allows you to walk, which will allow you to have a healthier lifestyle. But with that said, a con could be that the city can feel crowded, especially during school season with all the college kids coming from all over the country and all over the world. The city can feel a little crowded. So there's people everywhere. And then also, it's a tourist hub. So people from all over the world visit Boston, especially during spring and summer. So you keep that in mind, that the city can feel a little crowded. And if you are somebody who likes more of a slow-moving city, a quiet city, Boston may not be the best option for you. Pro number 8 is comfortable summers. Boston's summer season is a breath of fresh air, quite literally. With warm temperatures and occasional hot days, it's a lovely respite from colder months. There are also a ton of water activities to make the summer super fun and enjoyable. All right, so con 8 is Boston housing. So due to the influx of international buyers coming to Boston, students from all over the world coming to Boston, people visiting, it makes Boston housing one of the most challenging markets to navigate if you're looking to buy property in the country. The demand is absolutely insane, and the city can simply not keep up with the amount of housing that is needed, to the point where now they're getting creative with even commercial spaces, trying to convert them into living spaces because of how difficult it is to keep the demand of housing. Housing is some of the most expensive in the country for that reason. Also, if you're looking to rent, it's very similar. It's very competitive. And if you find a good apartment, be ready to compete with multiple people in order for you to get it. All right, so here you have it. These are the pros and cons of living in Boston. We wanted to keep this video short. If you have any questions, my name is Albert. I'm a real estate agent here. If you're looking to buy property in Boston, let me know. Book a meeting with me. Link is right below. Shoot me a text, even call me. I respond. Let's go from there.